What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we got a news update for you today. We've got a new Prime Unvaulting on the way next week. And it's not a super exciting one, but we will show you what's coming out. And, talk about it in the grand scheme of things. We had that Regal Aya event, which was basically the Prime Resurgence that had nearly all the frames unvaulted like a couple weeks ago. And this is not going to be that. We're actually getting a normal unvaulting starting on February 15th. So before we get into it, make sure you're subbed and all that. We're also getting some gameplay up as well, so we can just, have something to look at besides Mirage Prime, who's one of the frames getting unvaulted, by the way. All right, so as far as frames being unvaulted on February 15th, which is like 4 days away, to be honest, we've got Banshee Prime and Mirage Prime with their terrible weapons. And yes, they do come with some pretty outdated weapons. I've actually got a nice little treat for you today. I'm going to show you all of the accessories for both these Prime frames. We've got the Mirage Prime signed in and all that, and we've got the Banshee Prime stuff. Let me just get a no fashion frame slot unlocked for you right here. But yeah, as far as the stuff you can get from these packages, it's going to be the same as before. Basically, if you want to buy the double bundle with Mirage Prime and Banshee Prime, that's going to probably be like, I think it's like $80 or something like that. You're going to get 1200 Platinum, both frames, so Banshee Prime frame and Mirage Prime frame. And they actually have two pistols between each other, so that's kind of crappy. You're going to get the Euphona Prime, which is very outdated, and you're going to get the Akvolto Prime, which is also very outdated. And they've also got like an outdated melee weapon too, the Kogake Prime, which is a weapon I don't think I've ever actually used the Kogake Prime, like, seriously, ever, because it is pretty low stats. So let's just go ahead and show what cosmetics you can get with Mirage Prime. And, maybe this is not the helmet for Mirage Prime, but so things you can look at if you want to buy the bundle or the accessories bundle, because remember, there's an accessories bundle as well. We have the Atavist Prime armor set. This is basically, it's got some rings on it. I don't really use it that much, to be honest. I don't know, like, there's something about it, like, you'd think the chest piece looks good, but it's just kind of bulky, in my opinion. We've also got, I think it's the Atavist Cyandana as well. Remember, this is base colors, so you can, of course, color customize if you wanted to. The Cyandana is actually called the Abera Prime Cyandana. Not sure what they call it, like, they couldn't call it Atavist, but, they like to mess with us with these names. Now, this Cyandana, unlike the armor set, I think looks pretty good. Now, I don't use it very much, to be honest. But, yeah, so that's the stuff you can buy the accessories. The weapons with Mirage, Akvolto Prime, basically a puncture-based high crit weapon with 14% stat chance, not too amazing. This is a semi-auto weapon, so it's pretty much one of the worst weapon types in the game, and it has puncture damage, which I wish puncture procs were more useful. But it has 36% crit chances, is very high. So if you look at like this really old build that I would not recommend to you, with just Prime Pistol Gambit maxed out, we're at 103% crit chance. So guaranteed crits, some orange crits. So there's that. I guess that's kind of cool. And then, like I said, the Kogake Prime. I don't even know what mastery rank this thing is. It is really not. It ain't it, Chief. We've got very high status chance with an impact-focused weapon. If impact procs were more useful, this would potentially be okay. But then we look at the crit chance and crit multiplier, and you're like, you know what? There's probably something better out there. So yeah, this thing sucks. But if you buy the bundle, you get this. So enjoy. Maybe just do like a auto mod situation. Should be pretty good. Yeah, looks about right. All right, so that is with Mirage Prime. Overall, I'd say it's mostly just the frame. She hasn't been unvaulted for quite a while, so I'm not sure her price was looking like. But yeah, the cosmetics are also kind of questionable as well. Then we've also got Banshee Prime. And with Banshee Prime, I have the cosmetics for her too, so you can actually see what comes with that. So, of course, if you wanted to buy the individual pack, like I said, you'll get the one frame and their stuff. So Banshee Prime came with the Euphona Prime and the Helios Prime Sentinel. If you have not played the game in quite a while, you might be like, oh, I remember Helios. He was pretty good. Unfortunately, Helios has been nerfed since like over a year ago, where he no longer can carry the stat stick of melee Gladiator mods to carry over to your second, to carry over to your melee. That does not work anymore, so Helios is basically just a scan bot nowadays. Quite unfortunate, as there are not really many good Sentinels, especially since they have survivability issues. But whatever, we've got the accessories here and the weapons. So, the accessory Cyandana you get if you buy Banshee Prime Unvaulting is the Capella Prime Cyandana. I don't really ever use it, to be honest, but this is what it looks like. Yeah, it's very droopy, I guess I'd say. I'd say it looks okay on Banshee, but when you start putting on other frames, I don't like it. It also has some clipping issues at the bottom, but there's lots of clipping with Fashion Frame in this game. Additionally, if you do buy the accessories bundle, you can get some Sentinel accessories, not just for Helios Prime, but we have them on Helios Prime just to show you what that looks like on him, as he does come with the bundle. So it's actually just a Prime version of the Ictus set. So there's the non-primed one right there, and the Ictus Prime. This looks completely different. So they might as well not even have the same name, even though they do for some reason. So you get the mask, the wings, and the tail, and yeah, if Sentinels get survivability changes in the future, maybe, but as it stands right now, no. And then, as I was telling you, you'll technically get the Deconstructor Prime as well with Helios, since it's his signature weapon. But then, like I said, you can no longer equip the Gladiator mods. Literally no set bonus mod besides this. The sacrificial stuff can go on here, but rifles can still get the set bonus mods on them for some reason. So, a little bit of a weird change, but I'm sure they have their reasons. Yeah, so my recommendation to you, and this is starting on February 15th, which is like a couple days away. My recommendation to you is that I'm still going to probably say it's not really worth buying, but hey, at least you will have something to farm in-game. Remember that the Rhino Prime and Nyx Prime Unvaulting is technically currently farmable. They snuck it in after the Prime Resurgence event ended. So you could go do bounties right now to get Rhino relics, to get Nyx relics, and their weapons. You can also get them from like Ukko and stuff like that. But this is just going to be like, normal unvaulting stuff. Those places that the Rhino relics are currently, they're going to be replaced with Banshee and Mirage. I almost forgot who this unvaulting was. It's just such an unexciting unvaulting. As far as weapons that you must, or the items you should get from this unvaulting, it's just the frames, guys. The weapons are so outdated. I don't even remember the last time I fired the Euphona Prime off. And as you saw from the Akvolto build, that was a very old build as well. These weapons are not meta. They are not even very good, to be honest. And you can do much better. If you watch any of the videos on the channel for weapons I actively recommend, even the Atomos is better than these Prime weapons that are like single target. They have good crit stats, don't get me wrong, but the Atomos and like other good pistols have good crit stats that we can use those instead. So even in the realm of Prime weapons, the Kogake, the Euphona, and the Akvolto are some of the worst Prime weapons in the game. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, just get both the Primes. The frames that is Mirage Prime, a very, very good DPS frame. Potentially meta for arbitration, speedrunning. Banshee Prime is good for debuffing the enemies. As a solo frame, she can be pretty good too. With her third ability, the Silence, which is like an AoE stun. And you can subsume the Gloom ability from Sevagoth onto her to make enemies just complete jokes. They're stunned and 95% slowed. Additionally, like I said, she can debuff enemies with her second ability, the Sonar. So yeah, I'd say get both the frames, and they were not available during the Unvaulting Resurgence event, so this is the way you're going to get it. We don't know how long this will last for, because we don't know. Yeah, and let's just finish off reading the page, see if anything was contained at the bottom. Basically, I showed you everything here. Starts on February 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, if you do remember the videos I made on Prime Resurgence, DE said they don't know if they're going to bring the event back. I personally hope they do bring the event back, just because, it was nice to be able to pick what you wanted, to be honest. It's like, hey, I'm farming some Aya today. I feel like getting a Necros set. Let's go get all the Necros relics. Of course, it was kind of lame how there was like weekly rotations where it's like, oh yeah, well this week it's only Chroma and Mesa. Next week it will be Frost and Ember. And I guess that's how they balance it, or it's mostly FOMO, to be honest. FOMO is what drives a lot of sales in these types of free-to-play games. And yeah, that's what you deal with if you are a Warframe player. So hopefully you guys feel informed on the next couple of days here in Warframe. I have a lot of Mirage relics sitting around, so I probably should get around to opening them. Getting the relics is one thing. Spending the time to open them is a whole other issue for me. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for the support going for all the time. Yeah, I really, really appreciate it. And that's about it. I'll see you next time. Peace.